So I'd like to share an idea from Rav Mordechai Kamenetsky from his book Parashat Parables on Parashat Pekudei. So he brings the pasuk Ele Pekudei Mishkan ha'edut asher pukad al pi Moshe avodat haleviim biad Itamar ben Aaron HaKohen. And he highlights the words Mishkan ha'edut. What does that mean? Tabernacle of testimony. What was it testifying? What does that mean, tabernacle of Mishkan ha'edut? So he brings Rashi. What does Rashi say? Rashi says that it was testifying that Hashem forgave the Jews for the sin of the golden calf. But that itself raises questions. How did the Mishkan testify their forgiveness? Forgiveness only occurs when there is a correction of a misdeed. For example, when someone gets uncontrollably angry, they can be forgiven with acts of extreme gentleness. Or someone who's exceptionally arrogant can make amends by being very humble. So now, what connection does the Mishkan have to the golden calf? That it was a testimony to Bnei Israel's being forgiven. And the second question he asks is in the following pasuk. It says, "Ubetzalel ben Uri ben Chur l'matei Yehuda asad kol asher tzivah Hashem et Moshe." And he says, why does it say Ubetzalel asa? He cuts out a few words in between. Ubetzalel asa et kol asher tzivah Hashem et Moshe. Betzalel did as Hashem commanded Moses. Why didn't it just say Betzalel did what Moshe told him? Why does Betzalel almost get bumped up a rank? He's almost at a higher level. That he's receiving direction. He's receiving direction directly from Hashem. So Rabbi Mordechai Kamenetsky brings a story from Dr. Abraham Twersky from his book Do Unto Others that I think will help us gain clarity to answer these questions. He says Dr. Abraham Twersky would bring his students that he would teach into the psychiatric ward at the hospital to see what they would read about in textbooks and to see these rare cases of these psychiatric disorders. And there was one most difficult case that was a man who had been in the psychiatric ward for 52 years. And every morning he would wake up, he would eat breakfast, and he would go to a corner, put his hands up, palms facing up, contort his face almost like he was in pain, and stand like that until lunch. He would eat lunch and then return, standing, holding up the world. Dinner, back, and bedtime, and repeat for 52 years, every single day. One time, when Dr. Twersky brought in a few of his students, one of the students asked, he said, "Do you mind if I go and speak to this man?" Dr. Twersky's like, "Yeah, go ahead for sure. I mean, we've tried everything. Yeah." So he went up to him, and the student looked at him, put his hands out, palm facing up, contorted his face almost like he was in pain, and stood there. And the man looked at him for a second, and the student looked at him and he said, "Hey, don't worry. I got this." The inpatient looked at him, looked back, dropped his arm, and went down, and he sat on a couch. For the first time in 52 years, he sat down, not at a meal. Dr. Twersky couldn't believe it. He surmised the patient had felt that he was literally holding up the entire world. And the only way he would have sat down is when he felt that someone else, competent enough, was holding up the weight of the world. The commentators explain that the reason Bnei Israel committed the sin of the golden calf is because the moment 40 days elapsed and Moshe was missing, they panicked. No one, they felt, could lead them but Moses. So they created a false deity. The Mishkan, however, was the antidote. How so? Because Moshe charged Betzalel with the task of building the Mishkan, and yet our sages explain that Betzalel challenged Moshe in certain directives, and Hashem sided with Betzalel. Betzalel did exactly as Moshe had told him, but it was like Betzalel had heard the directive from Hashem himself. That's why the pasuk says, "Ubetzalel asa et kol asher tzivah Hashem et Moshe," because it was like he was doing it like he directly heard it from Hashem himself. And through Betzalel and the Mishkan, the nation Bnei Israel saw that they could continue to push on even without Moshe Rabbeinu guiding them in every little thing. They could exist without him holding up the world every step of the way. They understood that they would continue and even thrive without Moshe Rabbeinu. And that is the goal of Besorah, to pass on the torch to the next generation and for them to receive it with utmost care, and to in turn hold up the world through Torah. And now we are holding up the Torah outside of yeshiva, carrying on learning and growing in an environment that's not quite the same, but I have full confidence that each and every one of us can do it, and continue to grow exponentially in this time. Shabbat Shalom, and I hope everyone has a safe and relaxing Shabbos.